Hi, I'm Dempsey Palat, and this week I'm reviewing Dr. Sleep was directed by Mike Flanagan, and it's based on the Stephen King novel and the Shining sequel of the same name. However, it's also a direct sequel to Stanley Kubrick's film adaptation of The Shining. And it follows a grown-up Danny Torrance, played by Ewan McGregor, as he tries to help a young girl with similar abilities to him named Abra battle against these beings that want to feed off of her power, quite literally. Now, Mike Flanagan, who previously helmed The Haunting of Hill House, which if you haven't seen, I highly recommend it, he continues to prove that he's a force to be reckoned with right now. He's probably one of the best directors working today, especially in horror, and here, once again, he proves that. This film is masterfully directed. However, while you would expect it to be more of a horror film, it really doesn't have that much horror in it. I would say that there are a lot of horrifying sequences, but for the most part, this film is a supernatural thriller. And that's just one of the many ways that this film differentiates itself from its predecessor. I mean, in no way is it necessarily scary. And if I'm being honest, it's not even that challenging either. And I know that sounds kind of bad, but it's not, okay? And I hate to continue to compare this film to its predecessor, but there's no way to really talk about this film without bringing up The Shining, so I apologize in advance, but The Shining is an experience. It's a film that you can watch many different times, and each time you can take away something different or have a different interpretation of it. Here, it's just a straight-up narrative. Like, beginning, middle, end, we know what we're getting, and in my experience, there was no other way that I could take anything. Like, it's a definitive story. And, I mean, it's not a bad thing, but I do think that fans will enjoy it. There's plenty of Easter eggs for people to pick up on, and it consistently pays homage to the original. Now, going into the acting, Ewan McGregor is incredible here. Honestly, this role shows just how much more range he has. I've seen him in a lot of things, but I don't think I've ever seen him this good. Over the course of the film, we see him up and down and even trying to empathize with his father or trying to fully understand who his father was years after what took place in the original. There's even a scene in the movie where he talks about how he's at a point in his life where he kind of understands the man that his father wanted to be. And there's especially the scene in the third act that just destroyed me. That's all I can say, okay? Just know that he is the real deal here. Also in the film, besides McGregor, we see Cliff Curtis, who is an incredible character actor, Zahn McClarnon, and Rebecca Ferguson, who plays the film's main villain. But none of those guys shine nearly as much as Kaylee Curran, who plays the little girl, Abra, that Danny's trying to help. She is so good. She's very confident. She's very funny. She steals quite a few scenes that she's in, and overall, I thought that she commanded the screen just as well as McGregor. On a technical level, this film was also very well done, and I know I spoke a little bit about Mike Flanagan's direction earlier, but I want to take a second and talk particularly about the sound. Just like its predecessor, every click, every footstep, it evokes a response. Even the silence, you feel it. Okay, and also there are some scenes and sequences that were reshot and redone for the purposes of this film, just with different actors, and I'm not gonna lie, they were just as good as the original. In fact, in some cases, I couldn't even tell the difference. Given how much I really like this film, even I must admit that it just wasn't perfect. Okay, even if you stop comparing it to The Shining altogether, there are just some things in it that are unforgivable. For instance, it's pretty predictable at times, especially in the third act. Even though I absolutely love the third act is fantastic, I saw a lot of it coming, I can't lie. Also, this film is very long, okay? At just over 2 hours and a half, one could say that it does drag occasionally, but it's still a good movie. It's still kind of unreal to think that someone made a sequel to Kubrick's The Shining. I mean, King publicly rejected Kubrick's adaptation, and Mike Flanagan knows that. Yet here, he embraces everything that made The Shining the film so good, while at the same time staying true to the next chapter in Stephen King's story. He treads the line so finely between the two that as a result, he creates what I think to be the perfect balance between what the two men might have wanted, despite not being perfect itself. I like to think that whether you're a Kubrick fan or a King fan, you'll enjoy this movie, or at least I hope you do. But even if you're not, it's still pretty good. And for that, I'm going to give this film 4 stars.
Come and play with us forever and ever.
Guys, thanks so much for watching. As always, if you like this video, hit that like button, and if you're not subscribed, I would ask that you please subscribe. I post new videos weekly, and I'm always working on new stuff. Now, I was fortunate enough to see this movie just a week earlier than everybody else, but if you do happen to see it and you like it or you didn't like it, let's talk about it down below in the comments section. I'd love to hear what any and all of you guys thought. But yeah, that's pretty much all the time I have for today. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to view this video. It really does mean the world to me, and I love making these videos for you. So I should probably get back to work. Until next time, I'm Dempsey Pallot. Take care.